Okay, so in this chapter we're going to show how to remove a faulty switch. And there's a couple of methods we're going to use. We're going to use the solder wick or solder braid to essentially remove some of the solder from the posts and the connectors on the switch. And then we'll use the hot air to heat the whole switch up altogether and show removing that. So you notice right now I have the board taped up. Use the protective heat tape over all the sensitive components, and I have the board secured in my board holder. And then when it comes time to use the hot air, I'm going to be directing the hot air away from the board toward the switch and onto the mat, so that any heat that kind of bounces off or whatever is not going to go to the more sensitive components on the board. But I'll have a close-up on that shot here in a second. You'll be able to see the switch, close up as we work with the hot air. But for right now, I'm first going to get my solder braid, and I'll end up just let's see here. I'll end up just removing some of the solder from that switch. So I'm going to tin my tip here. And get some of this solder braid out, and we're going to try and just heat that up ever so slightly. Okay. Okay. And try to get this backside too. Okay. Now I'm going to turn my air up, and with the air I'm at about an 8. Like I said, I'm just going to be heating this up, and you want to take your time. You don't have to be right up on it. You're going to want to kind of move the tip around a little bit of your air so that you're not concentrating just on a single part of that switch. You want to make sure you kind of heat everything up evenly. So we're just going to keep moving it back and forth, and it will take a little bit of time to get the solder to flow. But I have my tweezers on the switch, and I'm just giving it a little bit of pressure so that once I do actually end up melting the solder, we'll be able to get the switch off. Just keep working it back and forth. I can feel it loosening up now. And you want to make sure you get all the solder molten before you lift it, because if you prematurely lift it, you may end up taking one of the pads off with it, and you don't want to do that. If you end up removing one of the pads, you may not be able to end up repairing it. And then what I'll do is just kind of clean these up here. Just kind of go over those. And that's pretty much removing the switch. We'll show applying a new switch in the one of the other hot air video of actually installing, but this is how to remove or desolder a component switch, power button, whatever, with the solder wick, and then to remove it with the hot air.